Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Inside Red Dragon Sports. I'm your host, Geoff Hassard, Assistant Director of Athletics and Sports Information Director here at the college. And as we continue towards the end of our winter season, we're going to preview women's basketball tonight. So please join me after the break where I'll be joined by head coach Daphne Thompson.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me right now is head women's basketball coach Daphne Thompson. Welcome to the show, Daphne.
Thank you, Jeff.
Why don't you, we're kind of into what we call the championship portion of our schedule. We got a couple conference games left, but by the time the show airs, we'll be playing in the SUNY tournament, which we've secured. Why don't you tell us up to this point how you think the season has really gone for us?
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think that the players have really stepped up and done some great things, have been super coachable this year, and I've really enjoyed working with this group of women.
Okay. Now, from last year, where we finished 500, to this year, what can you pinpoint some of the things specifically that you think allowed this group to be as successful as it has been to this point?
Well, one is just our leadership is, a year older, and they've matured and are able to build confidence within the younger girls and women, and the chemistry has been, as I always say, that's pretty much what it takes, is having that chemistry, that support from each other and understanding that they have your back when things aren't going well, that you want to compete for somebody else and play hard for somebody else because they're doing the same thing.
Now, we're going to have our three seniors on the team, that are on the team this year on the show tonight, and we're going to talk to them about their experiences during their 4 years here. But can you talk about them as a group and how they've, come from being freshmen? I mean, they've all been role players, starters. I mean, they've all played different parts for us, SUNY championship team. So talk a little bit about the three of them and how you think they've made an impact over their 4 years here.
Well, first of all, I'm, always been very impressed with their commitment. When they step on the floor, for the most part, they're giving 100%. I mean, we all have our challenge days, but they believed in the team and they believed in what the coaching staff's doing, and has allowed them to, mature and be able to be solid players for their teammates to look up to and want to aspire to be.
What do you think some of the things are that they've done individually that has allowed them to be such great leaders for our team?
Well, I think, first of all, Grace and Kelly are both point guards, and that means a lot to a team to have somebody who's capable of being that floor general, that player who can take a lot of the brunt from the coaching staff when things are kind of not going the way they're supposed to be able to rally the troops and, calm them down and get them to do what they need to do. I think Alicia has blossomed into a player who has been able to make some big-time shots, and I think there's a difference between Grace and Kelly. I mean, Grace is that fiery, let's, take it to the basket. Grace and Kelly, on the other hand, is the one that kind of keeps us, gets us into offense, is able to, knows the game really well, and is capable of really just, they're a great balance to one another to be able to put on the floor and one in, one out, and, give a completely different look to the other team. So it's very helpful.
Right. And as you've watched them develop during their 4 years, I mean, certainly, Grace was an all-conference player last year. Alicia was able to play overseas this year with an all-star team. I mean, certainly Kelly has been such an instrumental part off our bench. I mean, what kinds of things do they bring, and how do you, like, when you've watched them over the 4 years, I mean, what are you most excited about as they close out their careers?
I think, as I'm sitting here thinking about the 2 point guards to start with, going into the season, the concern I had for them being both education majors, both having to do their student teaching in the at the end of our season at a critical time. And the nice part about both of them is they're very driven, both on the court and off the court, academically wonderful women, and I was nervous for them because I knew what was coming. I tried to do my best to try to prepare them for it, but I also knew that they were a lot like Sarah Christie, who had done such an exceptional job in getting that done, and they have each other, which is helpful too, where Sarah didn't. And so I think that they've managed that whole challenge really well. and I think that's the reason why we've been able to be a little successful here. Alicia, I think that just where she started in her confidence, not really being able to shine who she was for a while, and now being able to step on the floor with, this is who I am, this is what I do, and just being able to do it day in and day out without the fear of failure, because I think that was her biggest challenge, was she was afraid to fail, and now she doesn't think about that. She just goes out and performs, and I think that's what's attributed her to being the successful player that she is now.
Right. I mean, you walk into the gym and she's usually the first one there shooting and stuff
Yep.
like that. I mean, how important is it for those three players to do those kinds of things for the younger players? Because we have, what, 5 freshmen, 6 freshmen
We do have
this
5
year?
freshmen.
Yeah.
We have 5 freshmen and 3 sophomores. So
Yeah.
we have, a fairly young team, and I think that they've demonstrated what it takes to be a program player at Oneonta. And I talk about being a program player on a regular basis. We have 4 prongs that we talk about regularly, and each of them manages those. Each of them shows them what it takes to be a member of our program, and I think that is the reason why the freshmen have come along, and they haven't been afraid to try. There has not been, the 3 of them haven't held anybody back from developing, and I think that in the past, when I first got here, there was some of that, and so I think we've kind of grown as a program to be able to embrace what the new players bring to the
Right.
table, and I think the 3 of them have done a good job allowing those freshmen to be who they are.
Well, so any, what do you, I guess not predictions, but how are you hoping to play during the SUNYAC tournament and beyond if we're fortunate enough to win the SUNYAC, which we won 2 years ago? What are you hoping for here, as we close out?
Well, we're all hoping for a SUNYAC
Yeah.
championship, Jeff. That's what we started off believing we could do. I'm looking for 40 minutes. We haven't played a game yet where we've played a complete 40-minute game, so I'm excited about that because we haven't played our best game yet. It's not like we're at the top waiting for it to, when's it going to not happen again? We haven't reached that peak yet. And at the end of the season, that's where you want to be. I'm really excited because this team can do more than what they've done. And so I'm just going to, as I said to them in practice today, I'm going to get it out of them.
Yeah.
I'm going to, even if I told them today and one of the players came up to me and really had a smile on their face, that I was going to crawl up their hiney and die if I had to get it out of them. And we're going to get it. We're going to get it done.
Right, and certainly we've had some quality wins. We certainly have been in every game. We've 17-6 to this point. We're hoping. Last weekend, a lot of teams are now starting to, kind of maybe stumble a little bit. There's still opportunities to maybe get a first-round bye. If the weekend works out okay, possibly. A little stretch, but we might.
Yeah.
Who knows? Those tiebreakers. But
You're really stretching it, but we like it.
Hey, we
like
like to be optimistic. So, anything else you think going? We've got a few weeks here. Is there anything else that maybe with the team, younger players? Who are some of the younger players that have shined for us this year?
Well, I do need to mention that Sarah Longtoe broke
Yep.
a school record
Yep.
in our last game, being the career blocks now. She's got another whole year to add to
Another
that,
year.
so that's exciting. I think we've had some great freshman additions that have helped us. Maybe they're not consistent, and freshmen aren't consistent,
Right.
but it's nice that there's probably, at least 3 of them who have done some big thing in a game that has helped us to win a game.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of nice that you have that ability to be, they don't have to be that consistent player, but know that the rest of the team trusts that they can get the job done if the time comes. So it's nice that we have a pretty good balance of players that can step on the floor and contribute.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to thank you for coming by tonight real quick here. We're going to get your 3 seniors on here to talk to them about their experiences and what they're hoping for as we get towards the end of the season and beyond. And thanks for coming by.
Thanks.
All right. I'd like to thank head women's basketball coach Daphne Thompson for coming by tonight. And after the break, I'll be joined by our 3 senior women.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now are our 3 members of our women's basketball team. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
Why don't you introduce yourselves and tell us where you're from and what you're majoring in.
Okay, I'm Alicia Crawford. I'm majoring in biology, and I am from Oxford.
I'm Grace Schilling, majoring in childhood education, and I'm from Northport, Long Island.
I'm Kelly Mulligan. I'm majoring in adolescent education with a concentration in math, and I'm from Pearl River.
Pearl River. Well, certainly the three of you have been very important members of our women's basketball program for 4 years. I mean, we've won a SUNY championship, and we're hoping to win another one in a couple of weeks here. Reflect on your 4-year experience, where you think you've come from, how you've matured. You know, this is really a great time to be able to talk about your experience here as a Division III student athlete and maybe why you chose Oneonta. So who would like to maybe start with?
I mean,
Go ahead, Grace.
personally, I think I've grown a lot coming in freshman year. I mean, it's strange now looking back because I looked up to the seniors, and now that's us, and our team's looking up to us. And I think we've had a great run for 4 years. I mean, to win a SUNY championship our sophomore year was a pretty amazing feeling, and feeling like we're going to go for it again this year. It feels really good, and I think it was just a great all-around program, and I feel really good about everything that's happened.
So during your 4 years, did you, I mean, you know, yes, you grow, you mature, you get better, you know, all that stuff kind of happens, but did you see yourself in this position where now, you know, you are our leaders? I mean, is that pretty special? I mean, talk about that, Alicia.
Yeah, I definitely think it's special to grow into that leadership position, seeing 3 different years of leadership before us, and it's like picking and choosing what we wanted and what worked for us and what can help others.
Right.
So it's important to pay attention, I guess, when you're a freshman to what you want as a senior.
Right, because sometimes you're a freshman, you're just trying to get into the, trying to get used to the team, all the scheduling, your schoolwork, and who's paying attention to anything, right? I mean, Grace, you had to step in right away, and you were a starting point guard for us, and certainly, Kelly and Alicia, you guys have, you were come off the bench and help us, that way. As role players and stuff. I mean, how is that now for you, Kelly? I mean, certainly you're, one of our more important players off our bench to contribute in that way. When Grace needs a spell from point guard. I mean, how's that been for you during your 4 years?
I mean, I personally like coming off the bench. I feel like coming off the bench, I can give a spark and get it going on either offense or defense. So, I mean, Grace usually does a great job, but I feel like coming off the bench, I can just kind of take over what she's doing and help wherever I need to help, and I personally like it a lot.
Right. Now, how do you think that kind of spark off the bench? I mean, because you two are starters this year for us. When you go to the bench, I mean, certainly you guys are, cheering on the people who are in the game. I mean, has there been any surprises for you two this year, maybe with some of the players who have come off the bench and contributed? I mean, we've had a pretty good team effort. I mean, it's been a great
team effort. I think we definitely had a few freshmen step up, and looking back, we know what it's kind of like for them, so we're always pushing them to get better because we know where they're going to go in the future.
Right. Now, do you, Kelly, I mean, for seniors, how do you guys go about motivating and pushing some of the younger players, and how do they push you?
Well, I feel like you just got to, help them keep their head up. A lot of them may get down by sitting on the bench, but I mean, you just gotta keep them going. You gotta keep cheering on everyone that's on the court, and when it's your time to get in the game, you get in the game, you do what you need to do, and put it all out there on the floor.
Right.
And they help me because they keep my head up as well. It's kind of like a team effort. You got the team on the court, we got the team on the bench as well. So we kind of keep each other up and keep each other going.
I think it all starts in practice also.
Right.
The way we are in practice with each other, we're very encouraging. If someone falls down, you help them up. But we're also very competitive.
Right.
So definitely, it's a good mixture.
Now, are you all, what kind of leaders would you consider yourself? Vocal or lead by example?
I feel like more like example. I mean, I can talk, but more so by example.
Right. What about you, Grace?
Right now, I'd say more vocal, but I was more example.
Right.
Yeah, I am definitely lead by example, but I've grown into a vocal person too lately.
Right. Now, certainly, Alicia, your career, where you've come from and where you are right now, I mean, certainly if anybody were to look at your career numbers, they would come into this season thinking, she averages like 7 points a game, no big deal. But, I mean, you're averaging almost over twice as many points as you were career-wise. I mean, what is really the reason for that?
I guess I just felt like it was my time, and that if I wanted to be as good as I can be, that I can't let anyone stop me. And I let too many people get in the way of something I wanted. Right. So I needed to shut them out and do what was best for me.
Right, and certainly you got a chance to play with an all-star team over in Europe last year. I mean, what was that experience like for you?
It was unbelievable. If anyone got that opportunity, I'd tell them to take it right away and get the most out of it that they could. I met great people, and from here and across the sea, so it was just an unbelievable experience.
Do you think that had a little bit to do with maybe how you came into this year? You know, maybe a little more confidence?
I think it did, because it made me realize I was good enough. And I just believed in myself after that, I think.
Yeah. Now, how important is that for you as seniors to kind of pass that on to the younger players?
Very important. Like Coach always says that we know how our leadership was the next year.
Right.
Like how they do next year will reflect how our leadership was this year. So I think it's very important.
So really it's about continuing, you know, because our women's basketball program has historically been very, very good. So for you, you're looking at it as just continuing like a legacy, and you want to make sure that when you move on, that the people that are behind you are kind of saying, boy, they did a great job. I want to do just as well as they did, or so you guys try to set the bar a little higher every year, or?
Definitely.
Yeah. It'd be great that like when we come back for an alumni weekend in like the next 4 years, the girls who are freshmen now are gonna look at us and be like, thank you for what you did, because you showed us what a good leader is.
Right. Now let's talk a little bit about we're kind of into that championship part of the schedule, and this is go time really. I mean, we got to try and we're already in the tournament, which is, that's half the battle. You just got to get in and then take your shot. I mean, are there any teams that you would rather play or not want to play in a tournament situation? I mean, talk about some. I mean, we beat Buffalo, and they were in first place when we beat them. We beat them rather handily here at home. I mean, are there teams that scare you more than others, or match up better? Talk a little bit about that.
I personally would like to play Buffalo again because I think we match up really well against them.
Right.
And it's kind of, brings us back to sophomore year, and we beat them on their court. Kind of a little, I think it would be good.
Right. Now, is the only team that we haven't, beaten at least once it was Plattsburgh. 2 great games. I mean, when you look at the scores and you look at how well the games were played, I mean, certainly 2 very good teams playing. I mean, what is it about them this year that might be different from maybe another year for them?
I think it's their senior leadership with Kathleen Payne. She's quite the player, and Marshall is just a great point guard. Like, they know where they want to get the ball and how they're going to score.
Right.
So they're deadly offensive.
Right.
They are very good.
They are.
Right.
I'd like to match up against them again, though.
Yeah.
It's hard to beat a team 3 times.
Yeah, no, well, that's what I mean. When you look at how the schedule may or may not play out, certainly right now, if it ended today, we'd get a second, semifinal matchup with them. Right. So certainly, it is tough to beat a team 3 times in a year.
Yeah.
And we do. Now, looking back on your overall experience as a Division III student athlete, I mean, are you happy that you played at Oneonta? Are you happy you chose Division III? I mean, talk a little bit about that, how that experience has been for each one of you.
I'm like happy I chose Division III. I still have my love for the sport, and being a student athlete, like, the school comes first, and the professors here are great. They're very personable, and they're willing to help you with anything. So I'm very happy that I chose Oneonta as my go-to.
Right.
Yeah, I would agree with her. I think a lot of it, I mean, I chose the school for education, but basketball was an extra bonus. So I think looking back on the whole career and student teaching now, I mean, I've had a great time here, and like she said, the professors are awesome, and the classes, it's a really like hometown kind of feeling.
Right.
I agree with both of them. I also looked at here for education, and basketball is also an added bonus, and I just think that Division III was a good choice because you are still able to focus on academics, and it helps when you have a coach that's very understanding of what you want to do and what your goals are, and is always there to help you, obtain those goals, and having teammates that are behind you understanding it as well. And I just think that Oneonta was a perfect fit for me.
Now, just maybe the last question, how important is it to have a coach who really believes in leadership and believes in, in the growth of young women into, mature women as players and people, and how important has it been for each one of you, and just talk about that, and maybe that'll be how we'll get out of here, but how important is it to have someone like that's mentoring you?
It's obviously extremely important. Coming into college, you're 18 years old, you're still kind of impressionable, you don't really know what to expect coming in, and having a coach that's there to help you and guide you along the way to grow and mature as an individual obviously is extremely important and helpful. And I think that over the past 4 years, she has helped me do that. And I feel like I have grown into a person that I'm happy to be at this point. And I think I'm on a good way.
Yeah, I think it's really important the way that she does it. She doesn't just, you become a senior and it's like, oh, now you're going to be a leader. She started from our freshman year. And I think that kind of gave me more confidence to coming into the year, especially as a freshman and starting. It was a lot, and just the way that she handled it really helped me grow. And I think I've grown a lot as a person and as a player, and I think it's all kudos to her.
Yeah, I'd have to agree that I love her leadership aspect, that we don't call it captains, we call it leaders. And it's really going to help in the long run of life, that we're going to need to be able to deal and compensate with people that we don't get along with, and she's shown us that with 4 years of playing on this team, that there's going to be days and people that you don't get along with,
right,
and you're just going to have to work with it.
Yeah.
Well, we certainly want to thank you right now for your 4-year commitment to our program, and certainly congratulate you on all the success to this point. And we want to wish you the best of luck going forward, and hope we get to play into March. Late March, right? Late March.
Hopefully, yes.
And I just want to say it's been awesome to watch the 4 of you play, the 3 of you play for these years. So,
Thank you.
So thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and good luck.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, thank you. I'd like to thank all the members of the women's basketball team for coming by tonight, and certainly you can follow them as their season kind of winds down here at www.oneontaathletics.com. We want to thank you for coming by, and we'll see you next time on Inside Red Dragon Sports.